Okay, so something that came up during the test is how to make a new file without going to the home screen. I know y'all are really used to going to the home screen. So just to remind you, it's file, new file. We'll also bring up that little screen that you get when you're at the home screen. I think that was stopping some of the test. So we're going to make a tabloid size print of this piece. So you can go to print and there is a tabloid size. The only problem is it is vertical, so we want it horizontal. You can press that and make it horizontal, or you could just put in 17 by 11 on a custom piece. I'm going to put habitat or biosmear or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to change my color mode to CMYK. And you could start with a different background color than white, or you could do the white background color. Easy peasy. And that is how you get started. Oh, make sure it's resolution 300 ppi. Okay, create. So now I have what I want to work on. And then the next step would to make a new layer. So you have your white background, and now I'm going to make a new layer. And then I'm going to go over to the pen tool, and I'm using the pen tool for this project. That is the desire and how to build a vector image using the pen tool. But for my first layers, I'm going to put to this little menu here at the top bar. You're going to say subtract from front shape. That way it's going to color the outside of my shape than my front side. And I'm kind of just taking my pen tool, drawing a little border here, and making it as cool looking as I want. Little curves, but not a ton of click marks because we want it to be pretty smooth. Okay, maybe I want to change like where this click mark is, or I want to take away, this is kind of a weird little angle here. I could take away that by going to minus and deleting a point, and you'll see it kind of curved it that way. But what if I want to change a point, like I'm feeling like I might want to change this one? I go to convert point tool, which is the little triangle, and now I can actually change my point. I can pull it in different ways. I can get back my little sliders again to make it maybe something more what you're looking for or doing, to make it a little more smooth. That looks good. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to actually go to, it's okay if I leave it on there. I'm going to go to the pass tool now, and you're going to see under pass window, again, if this isn't out or anything is not out, you go to the window screen here, and you're going to click whatever windows you want out. So like my layers, pass, you would find that under here. So we're going to pass, and before we stroked a path, but this time we're going to color in the shape, and that's this little circle that's fully colored in next to it, and it's colored it in with this red color. That's because it's my foreground color, but I actually wanted it black, so I'm going to change that to the color here. Or you could kind of work with it and figure out what color you're going to need, which brings me to another point. I'm going to go back to layers. I'm going to bring in my color one, just so it's easy to find. I'm going to do that by placing the image in here. And I'm going to go to place embedded. I'm going to go over to my color scheme I made. And I'm just going to make a layer with it in here. And the reason I'm going to do that is I can turn it off and on, and it will be here. So when we're thinking about atmosphere perspective, and this is a good piece to think about because we have this Van Gogh right here, but you can see in atmospheric perspective, warmer colors are in front, cooler colors are in the back, and usually things get lighter as they go into the back. So it helps with making things look like they're in the distance. So my front color needs to be one of my darkest colors. And out of this color, the Pantone color and the RGB, the green color, it looks like that my green is the warmest. So I'm going to use that as my front color. I'm just going to go over to the foreground color and it's great. I have the numbers to type in. This would be a way you could share numbers with other people. We have a school Pantone number that are used to specifically get the right red and gold for our school. Most schools have that color kind of thing, and you would find that. So right now I press all that, and I'm going to get the specific green that I want. And again, I'm going to go back to pass and just click on my path. And I'm going to make it, oh, you know what I did? It's not letting me do it because I'm not actually on the layer that I can work on. So I'm going to the layer I work on. Now I'm going to do it again. And it changed it to that nice green color. So I'm ready to get started with adding on my other things. So I'm going to go to layers again. I'm going to turn off that screenshot I made. And then I'm going to start adding in things. You're going to have 5 layers, and you need to add in at least 2 things to each layer. So I'm going to add in, for my first layer, I'm going to add in custom shape tool. And I'm going to go here for trees. I'm going to do a Lake Tahoe scene. So if you don't have the shapes, the legacy shapes, it looks like mine have, because I updated my program, they're not here. Go to pin default shapes. Okay, nope. That's not how I did that. That just gave me the default shapes again. Oops. No, remember shapes. We did this during the heart one, but you go to shapes, you go to the little side menu, and you say legacy shapes and more. Then we have the more shapes. So now I can go in here and go to legacy shapes and more. And there's much more trees in here. There we go. Yes, this is what I want. Perfect. And now I can start kind of building a scene with some trees, building out some more trees on my front layer, different size trees, maybe different shapes of trees, right? So it looks like a real forest, wood. I can always use my move tool, like I'm going to move that over here. Some things you'll build with shapes, and some things you're going to build with the pen tool. So this is my first layer here. I'm still working on it, my darkest layer, and I'm thinking about what am I going to find in my scene. So one thing that I would like to make in my scene is I'm going to put a bear. Obviously, we know I like bears. So I'm going to put a bear, and I have downloaded that to the desktop. I got a bear off of Line. It's always easier to get one with a white background, but you can get any kind of bear, any kind of animal you want for your scene. And you can use a colored background. We're just going to make a silhouette of this. And so think about what would look good in a silhouette. If I had a straight on sitting bear with a face, probably would not look good for this. But for this, I can use this nice silhouette side view of a bear. But I'm going to use my pen tool again. And this time I'm just going to go kind of like what we did for the airplane and the game where you're tracing with your pen tool. The least amount of dots, again, are the best. So you can see that I'm trying to go, okay, I can get one here, here, one straight, go around his little mouth here, then do one here and drag it a little bit, right? And I'm getting the cleanest shape possible for my vector drawing. And as I click, I'm dragging the little curves. Remember, this is all mathematical. If we drew this with pixels, as it gets bigger, it would be fuzzy. So we're drawing with mathematical equation, and that's what you're doing when you're doing these Bezier curves, which if you're in geometry, you might have learned about, but if you haven't taken it yet, you will definitely learn about Bezier curves in geometry class. And I'm going all the way around my burr. Oh, you know what? I messed up. So, shoot. So I'm going to undo. Sorry. The one thing you want to do before you do the silhouette of this is you're going to change that subtract from. Because right now, if I stroke this one, I need a new layer, it's going to be the outside. So we don't want that. We want the inside. So I'm going to have to undo and get rid of my path. So just throw that away. Yes. And now I'm going to change it to the inside, combining shapes. So just changes it a little bit this time. And this, you could actually even, because you're doing the inside, do shape, which would give you the actual shape as you're drawing it. Sometimes this confuses me and I don't use this. Sometimes I like it. I'm just going to show you because then you don't have to do the path. But for the outside one, we do have to do a path and then shade it in, color it in. For this, though, I can build it right away and you can see what's happening. This is the part where I'm not always a big fan of this because I have to go back into here and I wasn't able to see where his fur actually was because it is drawing the inside at the same time. So sometimes it's a good tool to use. Sometimes it can be a little annoying. Where if you just did the path, do you think I can switch back? Oh, nope. Have to finish with this shape. If you just did the path like you just saw me do before, it would give you, you could see the bear the whole time or see your object the whole time. But you see, you save yourself of going into the path toolbar and you kind of can see what the bear looks like. This is one I would come back and clean up a little bit, where if I was just using the path tool the other way, I might not have to do the cleanup as much. Right? Mm-hmm. Almost there. Oop. Nope. Wrong direction. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Again, I might need to get rid of some of these dots here because I did quite a few, especially where I was losing where I was drawing. So I might take this one out. There you go. See, it makes it a little smoother and not so much of a... There we go. Okay, so that looks good. And now I'm going to go back to layers. Oh, I am going to throw away the path. Oh, no. Yeah, once I'm done. Nope. Don't throw away the path. Sorry. Go back to layers. So I am going to turn off my bear layer because now I don't need that. And I just have my outline of the bear. And I'm going to put my bear where I want him on my scene. So maybe he should be a little smaller. So Command T to make him a little smaller. Okay. Maybe I want the trees a little bigger. Here's a trick that you can do where you highlight a couple of rows. If you want to make more than one thing bigger, I wanted to make these a little bigger together. So I'm going to just highlight my row, press return, and do Command T for transform. I also want to move these over. You can see the shapes, the custom shapes are drawn by paths. You can see those. You can actually even change your paths when you're doing it. That's good. Okay, so this is my first level. I am going to skip ahead and do some of the stuff off of the camera, but I'm going to go ahead. Before I do that, once I get the first level where I want it, I am going to actually take my rows, highlight them by holding shift, all of the ones that go with the first level, and I'm going to go to the little menu here, the 3-layer menu, and say merge layers. So now they're going to become one layer of my first level. So you can see first level is right there. I also would probably throw away my bear because I'm not going to use the bear again, and say yes. Don't forget to save.